Okay, so I put the camera that's normally on the windscreen in the engine bay. I put a couple of torches in there. Lighting in the engine bay is not the best, and we're actually losing a bit of light out here as well. So I think once we actually get into Mount Kira, it might get a bit dark for you guys. But if it does, I'll just cut it out. But the engine is nice and warm, ready to go. I'll take it for a bit of a rip and you guys can see what it's like. Stuck behind a bit of traffic. Probably not a bad thing. You guys could really hear when I opened it up there. And this is a bit of an opportunity to just let the car cruise, and you can see how nice and quiet it is. I've obviously put a microphone in the engine bay so you can hear those throttles. One thing that I'd like to add about this engine is, although I've got a really aggressive 290-degree cam, the car is super drivable. So I'm in third gear, and I might even just slow down a little bit. 2,000 RPM, I'm going uphill, it's no problem. There's plenty of power and torque all the way through the rev range. It's such a common misconception that a big cam is not drivable on the street. Well, you know, and I was a believer of that too. I always thought anything bigger than a 272 was going to be undrivable. But you know, this proves that point wrong. I'm not sure why, whether it's the fact that I've got a larger displacement block or whether it's the oversized valves or a combination of everything, but if you're building a street engine and you're going to the length that I did, with like the port work, the valves, the high compression, my advice to you would be, don't hesitate on cam size. This thing maxes out power at 7,500 RPM. We've got a bit of room here, and this is a cool little section. And we'll kick back and relax again. Nice and quiet. It's so awesome that, like, I can drive the car around casual and I can totally talk to my passenger. The car's quiet. But as soon as I open it up, it just screams. It turns into a completely different animal. So it's a brand new day. That last video I ended up having to cut short because I pulled into this little rest area, took a phone call and ran out of light. So it's a brand new day, and as I was editing the last video that you just seen, I was thinking about the things that I'd missed and I hadn't really explained. One of the really cool things that I like about the oil cooler setup is how the cooler is kind of hidden until you actually really lean over and have a look at where it is. If you're just looking at the engine bay, you can't see it. I'll show you what I mean. So even if you're leaning right over, it's kind of hidden until you really lean over and see exactly where it is. It's tucked right up under there. And the whole cooler system's all Cetrab. And one of the other things is I changed my exhaust manifold studs to titanium. I ended up having a stud break on me before, ended up having to extract it, and I figured rather than put another steel one in there, I'll put some titanium ones in. They won't rust, they won't seize up, and they're going to be a lot stronger. So there's that. And I also forgot to mention that I have an Ati Super Damper. So Matt from NT Performance Engines, he makes a custom hub to mount an LS Ati damper onto a 4AGE. And I've got a full video on that too. So I'll put a card up here and you can see that video if you're interested in maybe getting an ATI for your 4AG. And yeah, one last thing before I continue the drive video is I've changed all the bushings to polyurethane Super Pro bushings. So there's no more rubber bushings in this thing at all. The only bushings that aren't Super Pro are the ones that either came with the suspension or the sway bars. Other than that, everything's all Super Pro polyurethane. Yeah, I'll take you guys out for another drive and show you a couple of other little features that are pretty cool about this car. So let's take it on. All right, so the first thing I thought I'd show you guys would be the launch control feature. With the Haltech Elite 1500, I can run a wire to my handbrake, which is just a handbrake switch. That engages launch control. So as long as my handbrake's up, the car's gonna limit the RPM to 4,000, and it uses an ignition cut. So I'll give you an example of that right now. So that red light indicates the handbrake's on, and here we go. So the way that works is if I want to do a launch, all I've got to do is have the car in first with my foot on the clutch, handbrake up, and then I just mash my foot flat on the pedal and it'll stop at 4,000. And as soon as I'm ready to go, handbrake goes down, at the same time clutch goes up, and I'll keep my foot flat on the pedal, and it will just do an awesome launch. I've actually done a couple of launches on this channel in the past. I just never really explained what I was doing, I just did it. But yeah, I've actually set up a camera by my feet. So, and I've obviously got my normal camera back here. So I'll give you guys a bit of a demonstration on that first. So we're just pulling onto the highway. I thought I'd just give you guys a quick demonstration on how the cruise control feature works, just to end the video. Just got to get up to speed first. Seems quite busy too. Go, we're cruising. When I first heard about the cruise control feature that Haltech offered, I kind of expected it to be a bit of a novelty, but it actually works quite well. It works regardless of whether you're on a hill going up or downhill. It controls the speed within like 4 or 5 kilometers if it's like a steep hill, but if it's flat, it can control the speed within 1 to 2 Ks. It just works quite well. It wasn't too hard to set up, and I'm super happy with it. So it's one of those little things that it just makes the car so much more enjoyable to drive. So this cruise control feature obviously works really well. And even to this day, every time I use it, it always puts a smile on my face. Just knowing that I've got cruise control in this little old ae86 that was just never meant to have it. Such an awesome feeling. So anyway guys, if you liked my ae86 build breakdown, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you'd like to see whatever else I have in store for this car in the future, whether it be that roll cage that I mentioned, maybe air conditioning, or even a track day, hit that notification bell and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.